Alright everyone, welcome back to another Shoutcast match brought to you by Ragoska. This is provided to me by InternetDave, spawning as the blue Zerg here in the eastern position. He left this replay for me on the StarCast community forums. That's www.thestarcast.com. And his opponent, Dares, the red Terran, spawning in the northern position on Shattered Temple. Shattered Temple is a 4-player map. You've got your main base here, which is fairly large. Always nice to sneak in, kind of drops here, or you can kind of sneak in here, as well as elevator up through here. Then you've got your natural, which has this narrow choke to get to the natural. So a lot of times you'll see Terran put siege tanks up here to keep this protected very well. You've got 2 gold-based minerals here, one here and one here, as well as a backdoor third base here and here. And then the other naturals are here, or mains are here and here. With this one Zelnaga watchtower that pretty much watches over the center of the map. But you can sneak units through these trees here on the side and not have them be detected at all. Meanwhile, looking here at this game, we'll see how this one gets going. I did actually already watch and cast this game once, but I got about halfway through it and my recording cut out. So I am going to look and re-record this game. And I did... I'll probably skip through some sections as this is a fairly long one. InternetDave knows your drone does come out here to scout. Could have used that to pick off this SCV while it was building the barracks, as he did leave it quite open and is building far away from his mineral line. He could have pulled 2 SCVs off as opposed to just the one, slow down his economy just a little bit. But it does look like we have a double gas build going up for our Terran player, which could be an indication of fast Banshees or just a heavy mech play. But seeing as he's only got the one guy in the gas, probably not going to be some fast Banshees. And we do have InternetDave's spawning pool going up right now, with just the 2 guys in the gas, not really droning up, and I guess droning up as best as he can, only at 14 supply right now. And we do see his scouting overlord. Typically you want to send your scouting overlord by air distance to scout, and then send your drone scout by closest by ground, but you did send your drone up here first and your overlord down here first. Typically you want to do it the other way around. And then we got 3 guys in gas here, 1 guy in gas there, and that barracks is now finished with a bunker up. So definitely when you see this is an indication of some kind of cheesy type opening there. He's got a good solid wall at his front, and once he kills off this drone he could be starting some kind of tech play, but it looks like he's just going to get that factory put up. And we'll see if InternetDave gets to scout that or if that drone's going to get taken out too early. And doesn't look like he's going to see it at all, as that drone does finally get taken out, and a supply depot going up, as well as a factory and a barracks. Meanwhile, InternetDave's base, he's just getting that Zergling speed going up right now. While just having those 2 guys in gas, and the Queen's doing her larva ejects on the hatchery. And going for a very fast layer right now. Meanwhile, switching back over to Terran's base, we've got that factory and that barracks going up, as well as getting a couple of Marines out just to fill up that bunker. And then just working on keeping himself from being supply blocked. Hasn't started his orbital command yet, but it looks like he's just getting some SCVs out right now. We do have that layer about halfway done now for InternetDave. And just massing off this huge Zergling force here. Looks like he's going to be trying to go for some kind of early aggression, or possibly a Baneling bust, but hasn't started a Baneling nest. Meanwhile, we just have that scouting SCV looking for where InternetDave's location is, and he'll find it eventually. But it looks like we do have a reactor now coming up on one of those barracks, as well as getting that first tank out. And then possibly starting his siege tech. Still does not have a orbital command started, so fairly late in the game. We already at 5 minutes. And that SCV gets taken out, as meanwhile those Zerglings are heading across the map. Looks like they're going to be getting ready to poke up into that base. Alright, about 6 minutes, 20 seconds into the game, we've got just short of 22 Zerglings just sitting outside the base right now. And now we have the Baneling nest started. Typically you want to start that building a lot sooner, so that way by the time the Zerglings get here you can start morphing in those Banes. And it looks like we do now have siege tech on its way as well. Yep, Looks like we got that baneling nest going up. We also have a roach warren going up for InternetDave. So we'll see how he decides to transition after this initial baneling bust. But as we do have siege tech researching right now, I don't think these banelings are going to be able to do too much damage. Just that once that siege tank's up, they'll kill them all before he gets too close. Alright, here comes the banelings morphing in right now. We'll definitely zoom in on this battle. And watch as those banelings come rolling up the ramp. Looks like the banelings will finish just in the nick of time as he lowers that supply depot. Here comes the scout marine. And siege tech just finished. Oh, using a baneling on that. And meanwhile getting that tank sieged up. Let's see if he decides to go for this baneling aggression. Come on, baneling aggression. This is definitely one thing you don't want to do with your banelings, is just let him sit out here like this. But he does not have that siege tank up, so this is probably not going to do much damage at all. Come on, roll the baneling. Oh, looks like he just wanted more zerglings to come up first. And looks like those banelings all get taken out without doing any damage to any of these buildings at all. Definitely a failed baneling bust attempt. We'll see how InternetDave decides to transition out of this. Meanwhile, we just have marines being built, combat shield, and siege tanks. No other tech, as the Terran's now sitting up at about 600 gas and very little minerals. Look at the worker supply. We've got 17 SCVs over 18 drones. So mainly looks like we're just doing baneling, zergling, roach tech right now. Alright, we got overlord movement speed coming up right now, as well as getting that spire going up and getting siege tank right now, as well as getting an engineering base. So it looks like maybe the going an engineering bay for upgrades, or he's getting scouted the spire tech, or just knows that spire tech's coming soon and deciding to get a missile turret or two up. Ooh, looks like some more zerglings got taken out there, as they did get destroyed by those siege tanks. That's one good thing about the Terran armies. You get these siege tanks up, and you're basically immune to zerglings and banelings, as they do such strong damage. And we do not have an expansion up for InternetDave. Looks like he's producing a queen, getting some more drones up. Meanwhile, that spire's just about finished, so we've got one base mutas coming up in just a few minutes. But he does have quite a bit of gas saved up, so it looks like when this spire does pop, you should be able to get quite a bit of minerals, or quite a few mutas out right away, as he is working on getting some larvae out as well. Definitely, some bumps and some hiccups on his play. That initial baneling bust probably would have done a lot more damage had he had the baneling nest up ahead of time, before those zerglings got there and were scouted. So that's definitely something you want to work on if you're planning on going for a fast baneling bust like that, is definitely get those units set up ahead of time. Go for the structure right away, and then get the units, set them in the middle of the map, and then roll up as you're ready to go. Meanwhile, we've got all 5 of these siege tanks just sitting up here, as well as just keep making those marines. Did lose quite a bit of marines to take out those few zerglings. Meanwhile, we have 8 mutas in production right now, 9 mutas, so we'll see how much damage those can do. This base is pretty wide open for muta harass, as he doesn't have too many marines built up. He's only got about the 4 marines. Working on getting that +1 attack and +1 armor, so these mutas are definitely going to fly in here and do quite a bit of damage. Could potentially even end the game if he manages to kill off all the workers and keep those mutas alive. And we now have a starport coming up for our Terran player. Not too many units you can produce from the starport that are good against Zerg, except for the medevacs. It's pretty much the only unit you want to build. And it looks like these mutas are doing quite a bit of damage to the SCVs and the minerals. taking out all the guys in gas, taking out all these, but a lot of Marines coming in here. It's going to pick off these 3 Mutalisks very quickly, and then InternetDave decides to retreat with his entire Mutalisk force, even though he could have easily taken out these 7 Marines. With these 8 Mutalisks, easily would have killed those off, and then could have just finished off the entire base, parked over maybe the Marines in that bunker. Probably couldn't have broken that, but could have definitely just killed the economy, destroyed the command center, ended the game right there. It looks like the Terran is going to have the chance to rebuild as he has 4 SCVs in production, or in queue right now, and getting a reactor on that first starport. Meanwhile, just throwing up more Marines, getting those Marauders out, keeps building those tanks. But as you can see, he has very low money right now, so probably not even needing this reactor right now, as he can only build 1 medevac at a time anyway. He's not able to keep up with the production of all of his buildings, and looks like it could potentially be seen an all-in push for him. And he's got these Mutalisks back in here again, doing as much damage as possible. Could even take out... I would definitely just focused on this right here. Don't really worry about the starport. InternetDave, he can't build anything out of the starport that's worthwhile. Meanwhile, you can just take out as many of these Marines as possible. And you're definitely retreating with your Mutalisks when you have the advantage. Could have easily taken out those few Marines and then just finished off this entire section up here. Killed the command center, killed all the SCVs, and won the game outright. But meanwhile, we do have a tank force here moving out. 5 tanks, 3 Marauders, and a handful of Marines, as well as 2 SCVs. With the 1 armor upgrade right now and 1 attack. So we definitely have an upgraded advantage for our Terran player, as the Zerg force is non-existent apparently, just these few Mutalisks here. Could definitely fly down here, pick off these Marines, and then pick off all these tanks. But right now we just have a bunch of Zerglings out. Tank sieging out outside the Zerg's natural, and beginning to shell away at that natural expansion, doing as much damage as possible. Taking down the Queen, and just picking on some Overlords right now. Meanwhile, Zerg really doesn't have an answer for this besides this Mutalisk force. But it looks like he's going to take out these Marines, taking out those Marauders, and then he's just going to have free reign on all of these tanks, as there's nothing here to shoot down the Mutalisks. Because as we all know, tanks can't shoot up. And there's 5 tanks for free. Meanwhile, these 2 mutas apparently did not want to fight. Alright, 11 Mutalisks on the field right now with 5 more in production. Let's see what he decides to do with these mutas, as they look like they're going in for a counterattack. And it looks like he's going to fly right into some Marines. Oh yeah, this is definitely hurting them. These mutas are basically just sacrificial mutas, it looks like. Throwing them right into a bunker. And we have more Marines coming down to reinforce this. Don't know if he's even going to get that bunker down. Looks like he barely just got the bunker down. A handful of Marines left off. Definitely not the best place to engage, is where a bunch of Marines already are and guarded by a bunker. Definitely could have flown in through the back and killed off just this little handful of Marines here and then taken out the mineral line again. Definitely would have weakened your opponent a lot better than attacking right into a bunker. But you do have a lot more Mutalisks in production, so we'll see where those ones decide to go. As well as getting a bunch of Zerglings up right now, sitting at about 2,500 minerals. Definitely should think about expanding to these locations, taking up as many bases as possible, forcing the Terran to basically have to mobilize and move out, and his economy is so hurt right now, he can't really do anything to stop you. Currently sitting at 78 supply versus 47 supply. And if we look at the units tab, we've got 37 harvesters over 13, so you're definitely in the lead quite a bit. Best thing to do is to get more ahead and do as much damage as possible. Meanwhile, we do have this small force of Zerglings moving out. Looks like the Terran army is on a move command, but easily cleans up those units. And it looks like we just have this huge force of Marines. No stim pack yet being researched, but it looks like he's just continually building barracks and units. And here come the mutas. Again, flying in the mutas into a handful of Marines is not the best use of them. You want to get some Banelings in there for the Marines, get some Zerglings in for the Marines, and then use the mutas to clean up the tanks after the Marines are dead. But you'll live and learn, as all your mutas did just get destroyed. And now it looks like we just have 3 roaches in production, as well as getting a second hatchery. Looks like we're getting a macro hatch in the base, a second macro hatch in the base.